That makes sense? Okay, how are you feeling? Make this happen.
He's got cardio for days. No, he's slowing down. Coming out. Come on, Roger.
Round two.
Bell in round two, and two distinct, different types of body language being exhibited by Gonzalez and Huerta during the break there, John.
Boy, are you correct with that. You take a look at the body stature, the body positioning, just the way that Chris Gonzalez was talking to his coach.
And again, changes the level and explodes in for the takedown, John.
You saw that Roger Huerta's eyes were not on his coach. They were looking down. It tells you so much about what's going through his head because this fight is not going the way he thought it would.
Push, pull. On the right side, push, pull. Elbow.
Get those hips in.
Gonzalez told us that he would stop Huerta via second round, ground and pound. And here we are in the second stanza, and he has Huerta on his back in half guard.
Look for that head position. Stay dominant. There it is. Make him uncomfortable there.
Yeah.
And John, speaking again to where you are mentally, he's having a discussion with the referee.
You're exactly right, and it's telling you so much. And this is what I was talking about, that fight IQ. Don't worry about the referee. If you're communicating with the referee during this fight, when you basically lost that first round tonight, your mind is not in the place it needs to be. Roger needs to get back into Chris Gonzalez is his problem. That's where he needs to put all of his focus.
It's a cliche for a reason. When you say the fight game is 90% mental, it's all mental at times.
At times it is.
Sit down there.
Don't sit underneath. Don't sit underneath.
Right now you're seeing Chris Gonzalez starting to move himself into that crucifix.
I was going to say, is tonight powered by the crucifix position?
Well, Good Friday and everything like that. Come on.
Matt Hughes, BJ Penn, where there have been some famous crucifixes.
There have.
Yes.
And it's a dominating position if you can get it and you're good at it. And there is technique to it. You get those arms trapped, it is very difficult to get them back, and you can do a lot of damage.
It is Good Friday after all here at the Fight Sphere Mohegan Sun Arena. 3 minutes remaining in the second round, and for Roger Huerta, he may need divine intervention if this continues.
Right now you're seeing Roger Huerta utilizing a closed guard. He was lucky that one missed. But that closed guard is telling you something, Morrow. He's now moved from a point of trying to win the fight. Now he's just trying to keep his opponent from being able to move to a better position, slow the fight down. Not so much into winning things right now because he's got to open those legs for him to get into an offensive position for a submission so he can win.
Just past the halfway point of the second round. Huerta active from the bottom, trying to just distract Gonzalez, timing, trying to irritate him, but it's all Gonzalez from the closed guard. And maybe a possible wardrobe malfunction.
Punches ain't nothing.
2 minutes left in the second round, all Gonzalez.
There you go.
And you're seeing Roger is trying to do some strikes from the bottom. That's all good, but those strikes don't have a lot of power. When you're talking about the way someone strikes more, sometimes you see them just moving their wrist. That's what I call a one. It's nothing, or it's moving the elbow and the wrist. That's what you're seeing out of Roger right now. They're more disruptive. And
there's a reversal by Huerta on his feet, and Huerta letting it all hang out now. Huerta teeing off on Gonzalez. Gonzalez maybe wanting to let Huerta punch himself out a little bit, but now Huerta bringing it to Gonzalez, catches the kick, secures another takedown.
Yeah, Chris was not hurt in any of that sequence. He was just covering up, looking, waiting. Roger was, throwing strikes. They weren't real heavy because he's coming up off of his back and his arms are a little bit heavy. But beautiful takedown to put the fight back to where he wants with Chris Gonzalez.
Under a minute left here in the second round. Chris Gonzalez continues to dominate Roger Huerta on the ground thanks to his wrestling and his top position.
It's a much better position than if I'm going to see Roger Huerta on his back. I love the fact that he's in butterfly guard right now. That's telling me that he's at least looking for a reversal of positions. Now he's going back to the closed guard.
And if his maybe worked on his IQ, a little potential elevator sweep there, Big John.
There you go.
30-second, well, the elevator for Chris Gonzalez is going up in this fight. 30 seconds left in the second round.
Good job, 30 seconds, Chris.
And again, you're seeing Roger, he's doing those strikes, but again, they're more distracting than damaging.
Hey, calm his face.
Final 10 seconds of the second round as Chris Gonzalez continues to wear down Roger Huerta, drops a big elbow as we go now to round number 3. It's all Chris Gonzalez.
You know, Chris Gonzalez on top here, but you saw finally, there goes Roger, opens the guard, and you see what happens when the guard opens. He becomes offensive, he goes after him with attack, but again, those shots, a lot of them were arm punches instead of having a lot of power behind them. And right away, here comes Chris Gonzalez, comes in, gets his hands on the legs. Roger Huerta right back to the same position on his back.
For that cross, he was hurt. Every time you hit him, he puts his head down. He's there for that knee then, or something else. Just don't jump in on him. Okay, he's gonna want to crash you. He wants to win this fight. He's gonna crash in on you. You keep your range, you sit your shoulder back, and you hit him with the cross.
Great job, great job.
I'm gonna say the same thing to him, all right? Just try to keep it clean through the end, okay? I got you, okay? Listen, all right? I'm gonna talk to him. I need you to follow the rules, okay? Stay there for me.
There you go. Hey, refresh.
Listen, you're both getting a little sloppy with the strikes. Let's have a clean end to the fight, all right? Watch the back of the head. You got me? All right, cool, man.
Referee Kevin McDonald
right, guys,
trying to just bring the fight a little bit more control on it. Talking to both fighters since they're both starting to complain about little things. Good move by Kevin.
Third and final round, Roger Huerta looking to snap a 3-fight losing streak in the red gloves. The undefeated Chris Gonzalez hoping to move to 6-0, sports the blue gloves, and Gonzalez has been controlling where this fight has taken place through the first 2 frames.
There you go, then circle the opposite direction. Switch cross, switch cross.
Dig it, dig it.
Don't go to that power. He's looking for a body shot. Switch cross.
What I'd like to see out of Roger right now is maintain this position in the center of the ring, but be smart in the way you're attacking.
There's a sprawl by Huerta.
Don't go after this big shot. Just go after touching him right now. Left, right. Just keep on touching him, and the big shot will be there. If you go for it, you try to find it, you swing hard.
Oh, Superman punch attempt by Gonzalez from the orthodox stance. Goes back to southpaw. Lead left connects on Huerta. Huerta now from the southpaw stance. So Gonzalez switching back and forth. Stance's head kick blocked by Gonzalez. Another kick by Huerta, who was definitely amped his offense, although he got caught with that right cross.
He get caught with that right cross, but he's got to be very careful when he's blocking that kick with one arm. You know, just blocking with one arm, you're still eating a lot of that kick.
Well, an increase in the aggression definitely from Huerta, and justifiably so, John, here in the final frame, definitely down on the scorecards after 2 rounds.
But I like what I'm seeing out of Roger as far as, again, he's not trying to go after the home run. He's trying to touch him. Just keep touching him. That way you're not going to make that big over-exaggerated movement that's going to give him an opening to get you on your back.
2 minutes gone in the final frame.
Push him back, Chris.
Huerta back to southpaw and Sanchez. Back and forth. There's that left hand that lands for Gonzalez.
2.5, Chris. Beautiful job. That's it. Straight cross. Over there. Switch cross. Straight cross. He's walking into it.
2.5 minutes.
Don't give him the takedown. Use that range. Set that cross out.
2.5 minutes left in the third, and Gonzalez again exploding for the takedown into side control.
Exploding into the tackle, as we call it, with that one right there, Mauro. And again, that fence is there. Now it's going to cause Roger the ability only to move in one direction. He's giving his back. There's one hook in. He needs to be careful of not allowing that other. That hook is inside already with the foot. Nice job of wrist control by Chris Gonzalez, and again, now breaking him down, keeping him face down. That's it.
Oh, the tap already. There we go. Chris Gonzalez improves to 6-0, 5-0 in the Bellator cage, forcing Roger Huerta to tap out.
Don't know exactly what it was that Roger felt that caused the tap out. It might have been just frustration. It could have been that he is hurt from something that occurred with that takedown. That takedown was a big takedown, a lot of power on it.
Stand up, baby. Shot down on your feet. Let's go.
You can see the hooks both inside, the foot on just with the right leg. But once he starts to flatten him out, he starts to get this position. Roger's hips get up in the air, and there comes the tap. Can't take any more.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Wasn't the salivary trying?
No, there was no salivary
No, but
there.
you know the...
Absolutely. Salivary going to be the body triangle, putting
Yep.
a lot of pressure on the diaphragm. He just had hooks in, but there was a ton of pressure in the lower back with the hips and being able to bring those legs up. It's telling you how much pressure is there.
Shout out fellow Canadian Ivan Salivary.
There you go.
And shout out to Chris Gonzalez, who improves to 6-0. And he causes Roger Huerta to capitulate.
Let's go.
And so Gonzalez now 5-0 under the Bellator MMA banner. And here was the 6-time Greco-Roman All-American, as John mentioned, a 2016 Greco-Roman World team member, and the high crotch, high amplitude lift, and he plants Roger Huerta to the mat. Dominant first round, and again, changing levels, explosive tackle takedown for Chris Gonzalez. Continued to take Roger Huerta down throughout the fight. Again, exploding, no takedown defense from Roger Huerta. And here comes the finish of the fight as Roger Huerta had enough. And Roger Huerta's losing streak now sits at 4, but Chris Gonzalez remains unbeaten. Let's make it official with Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, due to strikes, the tap comes officially. 3 minutes, 1 second, round number 3, the winner by submission, Christopher C.G. Lion Gonzalez.
The Lion roared tonight, and Chris Gonzalez is going to be talking to our own Big John McCarthy.
Chris Gonzalez, that was a fantastic performance. That first round we call as a 10-8 because you were dominant in that. Let's talk about your ability to take him down, but it was the positioning and you not allowing him to put you on your back. You were controlling, putting him face down. Talk about all of that work.
Yeah, you know, today was a little bittersweet for me. I don't know if you guys follow wrestling at all, but Olympic trials are going on right now too. I was fortunate enough to qualify. I had a choice to make whether or not to go compete there and chase that dream I've been chasing for 14 years, or show up here today and commit to this. You know, when I switched to MMA 4 years ago, it was a commitment, and it was a tough choice, but I'm glad to step in here today, fight against a veteran like Roger, showcase some of that wrestling I would have liked to show today at trials, and come away with the victory.
Well, showcase it, you did. Your wrestling was fantastic. It was the difference maker in this fight. That's the second fight in a row. Your last fight, your wrestling was what got you the win, but it's also your ability to now relax in the stand-up. Let's talk about your stand-up and what you're learning with Alpha Male. Are you feeling more comfortable on your feet in your mind?
Yeah, 100%, man. I come from a great camp. I got some of the most experienced teammates and coaches, from Danny Castillo, Uriah Faber, of course, my cornerman, Freddie. You know, I couldn't do without these guys and my training partners back home, and every day is just a process and a learning curve, and, you know, just that white belt mentality, trying to get better in all facets of the game and come out here and execute and put it all together.
6-0 now, just being on a run. Who is it that you look at, that's the guy now that I need to be going up against? Being in the lightweight division, your moves up, they're going fast. Who do you think you should face?
Any and everybody, man. It doesn't matter. I'm not the matchmaker, I'm the fighter. They can line them up, I'm gonna take them down. So they got those new rankings right now. I'd like to crack those. So all those guys that are ahead of me, you know, just knock them down one at a time. So, you know, they got my number. We'll see.
Well, congratulations on a beautiful performance against a veteran fighter like Roger. That was outstanding. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Gonzalez.
Impressive performance for Chris Gonzalez, looking to make some waves in the lightweight division. And we have more Bellator 255 prelim action coming your way from the Fight Sphere at Mohegan Sun Arena.
The toughest division in MMA goes to battle in the best tournament yet. As two-division champ Ryan Darth Bader
Look at what Bader can do.
clashes with Counter-Strike artist Lyoto Machida.
Knee strike by Machida.
That perfect storm is coming for the Grand Prix.
Who will reign on the road to gold? The Bellator MMA Light Heavyweight World Grand Prix kicks off next Friday on Showtime.
Philadelphia's welterweight phenom.
Jerron Boots Ennis.
Is he the future of boxing's deepest division?
It's not a matter of if, but when.
Let's go, we ready.
I'm with it all, Monday to
Now Ennis looks to prove the hype is real against his toughest opponent yet.
And the counter left.
Jerron Ennis takes on former champion Sergey Lipinets live on Showtime.
The new home of Bellator MMA is on Showtime, and the first epic event goes live tonight. Patricio Pitbull, the winningest fighter in Bellator history, versus bitter rival Emmanuel Sanchez in an epic rematch to advance in the Bellator Featherweight World Grand Prix. Pitbull versus Sanchez 2. Bellator MMA on Showtime, where warriors rule.
And remember, you can catch up on past fights 24/7 on our new Pluto TV channel. It's available now on your favorite devices, so look for us in the sports category. Now, something else you can look out for, it's our own Gareth Davies. He's got to give us his thoughts on Usman Nurmagomedov taking on Mike Hamel.
Thanks, guys. Much anticipation for later tonight as undefeated Usman Nurmagomedov, cousin of the great lightweight champion Khabib, makes his Bellator debut against MMA Labs' Mike Hamel. Nurmagomedov is 11-0 as a professional over the last 4 years and has finished his past 5 opponents. Training under esteemed coach Javier Mendez at AKA in San Jose, Nurmagomedov began at the famed Sambo Academy in Dagestan. But Mendez says his young charge can do it all and is by far the most talented and gifted fighter he has ever had. He just needs seasoning and experience. Hamel, meanwhile, says, "I'm not fighting Khabib. I'm fighting his weaker, younger cousin. It's all to play for tonight. We cannot wait." Back to you guys.
Well, that fight is coming up later on tonight. The highly anticipated Bellator debut of the undefeated Usman Nurmagomedov taking on Mike Hamel. All right, guys, this is Usman's first fight on U.S. soil. Let's talk some pressure here real quick because, look, he's got that big name, a big last name. It's his first Bellator fight. He's making his debut. First fight here, lots of big lights. AJ, you think that's some extra pressure heading in, you got to think, right?
A little bit, you know. At the end of the day, he knows he's got a job to do, but that pressure can be used as motivation at the same time, depending on what type of fighter he is. So I think him stepping into this cage today and making a big statement, which I'm sure he wants to do, is a great way to step into the Bellator family and show us who he really is.
Well, fight fans are obviously very familiar with his cousin Khabib, who's going to be in his corner tonight. Stylistically, Josh, are these two similar?
They are. Outside of just their last names, absolutely not.
Okay.
Usman has very good stand-up. Khabib has good stand-up as well, but Usman uses a lot more of his kicks. You should expect to see a lot of kicks tonight from him as well. Also, Khabib is more of a double-leg wrestling takedown guy. Usman will get you in the clinch and he'll foot sweep you. He's more of an Islam Makhachev type takedown guy. As far as the ground and pound, they both are they're similar in that area there. They both have vicious, nasty ground and pound and heavy, heavy hips. So I'm looking forward to seeing him perform tonight because I have trained with him, I have worked with him. He is very good, very explosive, and heavy, heavy on top.
Now, when we talked to him this week, he said that his biggest advantage was going to be his height. We saw them at weigh-ins, a bit of a difference. We know Hamel, he's fought at 145. He's basically coming up for this fight. What do you think, AJ? You think height's going to play a factor?
Definitely. Me being a longer fighter myself, the reach advantage, the height advantage, that's good to have in the back of your mind to know when you're tired you can take breaks and keep your range. But this fight with Hamel, Hamel's got to bring the fight. You know, he knows what he's up against, but he's got to bring the fight. He was previously fighting at 145 pounds, and he's now moved up. So I'm expecting him to be faster, a little bit stronger, and to be able to bring that fight to him.
Yeah, what's the benefit of him coming up is that we've seen a lot of fighters who have just killed themselves to get down in weight. And him coming up now, he's going to feel fresh. He's going to feel explosive. He's going to feel all the things that he didn't feel when he was having to cut all of that weight to get to 145.
Well, Hamel said that he thinks that this is going to be the biggest fight of his night, and he wants to make a statement with a win over Usman Nurmagomedov, and a statement that would be. But can he do that? We'll find out later on tonight. Mauro?
All right, Jen, thank you very much. We are set for more Bellator 255 prelim action in the middleweight division. Fabio Aguiar riding a 9-fight winning streak against Khalid Murtazaliev, who's won 3 in a row.
And now, ready to make his way to the cage, Khalid Murtazaliev.
The 27-year-old Khalid Murtazaliev. I'm trying to do my best Michael C. Williams impression. He is 14-2. 13 of his wins have come via form of knockout. And he is, well, a guy who's got a law degree, John, and a guy who holds a victory over CB Dollaway in his lone UFC fight back in 2018. Murtazaliev has not fought since.
No, Murtazaliev has not fought since, but it's not because he has been walking away from the fight game. He had visa issues, and there was a lot of things that went on with him. This guy can fight, Mauro. This guy is good everywhere. He's got outstanding wrestling. His stand-up is not real, flashy. It's basic, but he's got power. And when you've got power, you are dangerous no matter where you're at in the fight.
And working with one of the best trainers in MMA history, Greg Jackson and the crew out at Jackson Wink in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Training partner includes none other than, well, one of the best to ever put on the gloves in John Jones.
No doubt about it. When you're working out with a guy like John Jones, even if he's, handling you, you're learning something, and that only pays off in your next fight. For this matchup is, look at the records here, 17-1 for Fabio and 14-2 for Khalid. And those 2 losses, Mauro, are both to the same guy. So he's only lost to 1 man in his entire career.
Let's go back to Michael C. Williams.
Tonight from Mohegan Sun Arena here at the Bellator 255 prelims, we'll go now 3 5-minute rounds in the middleweight division. Introducing the blue corner at 6 foot, weighing in 183.6 pounds, making his Bellator debut. He enters with 14 professional victories, 2 losses from Mahatskala, Dagestan, Russia, Khalid Murtazaliev. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner, at 6 foot weighing in 187.7 pounds. His professional record, 17 victories, just 1 defeat. From Recife, Brazil, introducing Fabio Aguiar. In charge, your referee, Todd Anderson.
Todd Anderson, your referee for this battle of Bellator MMA newcomers in the middleweight division.
Ready? Ready? Hey!
Fabio Aguiar in the red gloves, Khalid Murtazaliev in the blue gloves. And there's the shot by Aguiar, the sprawl by Murtazaliev. It looked like Aguiar was taking that shot from Brazil, John.
He did. He saw an opening where he thought that Khalid was actually kind of, taking a moment to relax, and he went after him with it, kind of like what he did.
Hammer fist to the side by Murtazaliev. Good balance, defending the takedown thus far.
The fact that Murtazaliev has kept himself in the stand-up position this long, off of when you saw Aguiar get actually very deep on his legs, able to fight his way through it, tells you how good of a wrestler he is.
And there is that opportunity, Eve Edwards, KJ Nunes, I believe, where that knee comes up from the Murtazaliev. We've seen knee knockouts from this.
Yes, we have, and you can see it here. If you're Aguiar in this position, you want to make sure that your head does not get too low, because he will jump knee with that same foot that he's doing the balance on and bring that knee up as a striking instrument.
And for Aguiar, tenacious in trying to get the takedown.
There was a little bit of cheating there by Murtazaliev. He went and grabbed the cage. You saw the referee warn him of it.
In the words of Jesse Ventura, it's not cheating if you don't get caught. And there we go, but he got warned, and now...
That was a good move by Todd Anderson. That position was gained because he grabbed the cage. There should be something done with this.
Where's the interpreter? Come with me. I need my interpreter.
What happened is we had that first grab of the cage, and you heard Todd Anderson warning him for it. There's the grab.
Only warning.
And this grab actually keeps him in the top position. Right. So that is unfair. That is putting Aguiar in a position he never would have ended up in if that fence grab didn't happen. That's why you saw Todd Anderson come in and put a stop to the fight. I believe he's going to take a point.
He's received his warning for impacting the fight on grabbing the cage. He loses his position. You ready? You ready?
Doesn't take the point. What he's giving as the penalty is the loss of position.
Great job by the referee, and Aguiar and Murtazaliev start in the stand-up position in the center of the cage. Aguiar coming forward, trying to plant the jab on Murtazaliev's face. A lot of nervous energy coursing through the veins of Aguiar. Murtazaliev seems a little more composed. Lead left hand misses. Inside kick that was checked by Murtazaliev. Murtazaliev out of the southpaw stance.
Seeing Aguiar actually trying to go after that low calf kick. He's landed it twice.
Spinning back kick there by Murtazaliev.
That landed flush. That was a nice kick.
Jab to the body by Aguiar. Calf kick by Aguiar. Murtazaliev comes forward again with a kick.
Nice job of exiting off of that kick to the body. Both guys swinging heavy leather here, Moro. They want to finish.
9 of Aguiar's 17 wins have come via form of knockout, while we mentioned Murtazaliev, well, 13 of his 14 wins have come due to a strike. So yeah, they're both looking for that knockout blow and wrap each other up here along the fence, over and underhooks. Minute and a half remaining in the first round. Laser employed by Aguiar. There's a nice slashing elbow on the exit by Murtazaliev.
Those are the little things that are difference makers in the fights. When you're going to have that exit making your opponent pay for that. That was a beautiful elbow landed by Murtazaliev.
Final 60 seconds of a competitive opening round. Catapult right, blocked by Murtazaliev, but then countered.
Beautiful left.
Yep, Aguiar with the left hook. Half kick by Aguiar. There's the 1-2 through the guard of Murtazaliev. 45 seconds left in the opening round.
Both guys having their moments in this round.
Again, a spinning back kick attempt. Oh, and the kick. 30 seconds left here in the first round. Jab by Murtazaliev. But it's Aguiar coming with the big punches.
Aguiar putting good pressure on Murtazaliev. Normally you're seeing guys kind of giving Murtazaliev the ability to control where the fight's at. Aguiar is not doing that at all. He's
changes levels, and this time Murtazaliev stuffing the takedown momentarily, but it's Aguiar with position, but time is running out here in the first round.
Be very careful.
How do you score that on the unofficial scorecard, Big John?
You know, unofficially, I would have given that round to Aguiar. They both had their moments, but if you remember, Aguiar landed the better, cleaner shots up top. There was a beautiful spinning kick by Murtazaliev. That is not a good thing when you're getting beat up in the corner, though.
Continua trabalhando desse jeito, tocando, combinando. Vai, provavelmente.
Pitbull Brothers team well represented here tonight, and of course we put a cap on the proceedings later tonight with Patricki's younger brother Patricio Pitbull defending the featherweight title in the semifinals of the $1 million featherweight Grand Prix as he and Emmanuel Sanchez run it back in our main event coming up later tonight. Of course, the winner will face our guest analyst, A.J. McKee, in what should be an incredible final as we get set for the next round in this preliminary matchup.
Ready? Hey!
Middleweights going at it. Fabio Aguiar in the red gloves. Alid Murtazaliev in the blue gloves.
Khalid is actually, he's giving some different looks, and he's throwing feints, and he's getting a lot of response off of those feints, so now he should be doing the same thing to get Aguiar to move in the same direction. He knows exactly where he wants to go with the strikes.
Aguiar fine with the jab, going to sternum, then trying to switch up the trajectory, and Murtazaliev defending the takedown and delivering a well-placed knee to the body.
Again, this is what we're talking about, exiting with that strike. That's what he's doing, and that's what's going to end up paying dividends down the road.
One minute gone here in the second round. Aguiar moving forward, but not a lot of real crisp technique with the striking, John. A lot of looping punches by Aguiar, despite the fact they do have power with them.
Yeah, one of the big mistakes that I'm seeing out of Aguiar, look, everything is coming from the side.
Oh, and that left hook caught Aguiar on the jaw, and that momentarily stunned him.
When you're getting a guy that's shooting those shots all around, coming from the sides, it makes it easy to start throwing strikes down the middle.
And Murtazaliev searching for his first takedown. It's stuffed by Aguiar.
He should get this because he's deep, but he's got to get out with his knees.
And Aguiar able to defend for the most part. He is up against the fence, but stuffing Murtaziev's head.
Yeah, Murtazaliev going to what we look at from Khabib Nurmagomedov. Figure fouring the legs, controlling, keeping them up. That keeps the fighter from being able to get up. Right now, high head, you see him lacing that hand, grabbing that far side, so he cannot pull himself back to a position. This is all what you're seeing out of Russian fighters nowadays. This is beautiful grappling, slow, systematic drowning of the opponent.
Hey. Get your fingers out of the glove. Hey, go. Out of the glove.
Scott Anderson earning his money. 2.5 minutes left here in the second round.
Well, we always say that if you're not cheating, you're not trying. So Murtazaliev has been cheating a lot, so he's trying.
Murtazaliev controlling Aguiar.
Aguiar made a mistake when he grabbed the head and left his arm there. You saw Murtazaliev grab to the wrist, controlling that. You got to be smart about where you're going to put your hands. Murtazaliev right now is keeping his head a little bit down. Now he gets it back high. High head is going to win this position every time.
Feeding Aguiar those punches under the armpit. Remember one of the most famous ones, Dan Henderson on Fedor Emelianenko.
The ones you don't see are the ones that hurt you.
1:45 left here in the second round, and Khalid Murtazaliev with positional control on Aguiar. Aguiar back up to his feet.
His job of getting to his feet, but those hands are still around the body.
Body lock and point by Murtazaliev, and then the trip takedown. Good job by Murtazaliev to, of course, as in the running. I mean, it's Good Friday, that's all I can say.
But he does a good job because you're seeing that Aguiar is controlling the wrist, grabbing at the wrist, and he's using that leg to not only break that grip, but also land the strike once that arm gets put in a position it cannot defend.
Under a minute remaining, Murtazaliev remains in top position. Now putting his head underneath the right arm of Aguiar, driving it and neutralizing the left arm again. Aguiar desperate to try to reverse, try to escape. Half guard employed by Aguiar. Remember, Aguiar is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, started training BJJ at the age of 14. Has 5 submission wins, but is being controlled by Murtazaliev.
Murtazaliev is doing a really nice job of driving him forward, grabbing the wrist, landing small shots and then big shots once he gets the wrist. Aguiar's done a great job of not stopping that movement. He's making Murtazaliev work from this. He's not giving him anything.
Well, 10 minutes are in the books in this middleweight affair.
And I believe that right now we're looking at an even fight.
Provavelmente, olha pra mim, ele vai fazer a mesma coisa, vai fingir que vai trocar com você e vai entrar na mesma peça, fazer do mesmo jeito. Não quero que você aceite queda, não quero que você fique na grade, mas eu não quero isso.
O jogo em pé não é difícil não, mano. Você tá bem melhor que ele em pé.
Melhor que você, então a gente ganha esse terceiro. Não pode cair, não pode ficar.
Quer mais água? Isso. Em pé você tá bem melhor que ele, moço.
Ó, se você...
5 minutes, you win. 5 minutes, that's it. 5 minutes, you win. Yeah. You're in good shape. All right, let's go. Seconds out.
Greg Jackson showing you his Russian.
Affectionately known as Yoda. You talk about fight IQ.
Oh.
Ready? Ready? Hey!
All right, third and final round. Will Aguiar be able to continue his recent run of success in terms of stoppages? His previous 6 wins have come inside the distance, but in tough against Khalid Murtazaliev as the third round is underway here at the Fight Sphere.
Murtazaliev, one of the things he just really needs to do is think of throwing straight shots. Don't think of trying to knock him out with a big shot. Use that jab, use a straight right hand down the middle since Aguiar continues to throw these looping shots.
Oh, he telegraphed that takedown attempt.
Look at Murtazaliev use his head to position under the chin and raise Aguiar up.
Using it literally and figuratively. A minute gone here in the third round. Murtazaliev balancing on one leg. nullifying Aguiar's attempt to take this fight to the ground, where Aguiar feels his biggest strength is his grappling.
Aguiar needs to come what we call backside. You see where he's going with this. The only way for him to get this takedown is he's going to have to loop it back towards his left side, but the cage is going to stop that, so it's almost impossible for him to do it.
There, the wizard attempt by Murtazaliev.
With a beautiful
knee. So Murtazaliev doing his best to try to nullify the takedown attempt by Aguiar, and even on the canvas here, securing the left leg of Aguiar.
Right now, although Aguiar's in the top position, the problem is the weight that's on his shoulder. Where his arm is at, you're seeing that pressure. Now he's able to get through it.
And Aguiar has Murtazaliev's back. Will he be able to sink in the hooks there against the fence? Under 3 minutes left in the fight. And one hook has been put in, the other. Nope, still just one hook at Murtazaliev now.
Reversed the position.
Reversed it, and now looking for control.
Beautiful job to get his arm through. He did the swim maneuver to get his arm inside, then around the outside. Switching positions.
He really enjoys using his head.
Yes, he does.
Murtazaliev physically.
He uses it very well. It's a third arm. It's a short arm, but it's a third arm, and it works.
In fact, I don't know if I've seen anyone use his head like the way he is using it like this in tonight's fight, as much as he's doing. And now is in Aguiar's half guard, but Murtazaliev neutralizing Aguiar, trying to pass guard.
Murtazaliev very aware of the submission factors. You see him keeping his arms to the inside, then shortening his arms. Everything that Aguiar's doing, a lot of good movement, a lot of switching his hips, changing the angle. But as we're seeing what Murtazaliev is doing, he's using that head to drive him back. He's keeping him in position. You see him having that ankle on the far side.
A lot of energy being expended here in this battle. 1 minute and 30 left in the fight. Aguiar now has Murtazaliev's left arm, and
right now he doesn't have anything with that, and that's the problem. He's got to open up. Now he's got to work to keeping himself. Good job of splaying his legs because those hands were almost close to being together. He's got to keep those hands from getting
that wide base going to help him because he's going to scoop up the takedown just like he did there for Murtazaliev. And Aguiar still trying to diligently fight it. Back up on his feet. 45 seconds left in this middleweight bout between Bellator MMA newcomers Fabio Aguiar and Khalid Murtazaliev.
I will tell you, with 38 seconds left, Moro, either guy can win this fight still.
And maybe a standing Kimura attempt by Aguiar.
The problem is that he has Kimura, but those hands are clasped, so it's not going to go anywhere.
And Murtazaliev makes sure that Aguiar goes back down to the canvas, has his back. 20 seconds left. Murtazaliev with the waist lock.
Right now, Murtazaliev doesn't have his legs engaged. That's why he's holding on to that palm-on-palm grip, trying to control Aguiar, but he needs to get his leg inside so he can control with the leg and strike with the arm.
For the first time tonight, we'll hear the judges' score totals. And since you are our unofficial judge as we look at the highlights, let's go to the action and then we'll get your unofficial score.
This is a beautiful kick. It did not land clean. It landed right at the end of the toes. It was more of a slap, but the opportunity to make that strike land was there. That was a little bit more on that one. And that happened continuously throughout the fight. The big change there was a lot of the shots, beautiful left hook by Murtazaliev, but a lot of the shots started to become different based upon the fighters looping shots. This was the takedown attempt. You have that Kimura grip, but the Kimura grip is never going to work when you have those hands clasped like Murtazaliev had.
So who do you think will get the win in their respective Bellator debut?
I think in this Bellator debut, even though it's a close fight, can definitely go either way. I personally think that Khalid Murtazaliev is going to get the victory.
They've earned each other's respect after 15 minutes of grueling action. Khalid Murtazaliev looking to extend his win streak to 4, while Fabio Aguiar hopes to make it 10 straight wins. Let's find out whose winning streak continues. Here's Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go to your 3 judges at cage side. Your first judge, Michael Bell, scores the fight 29-28, while judges Brian Miner and Doug Crosby both see it exactly the same, 30-27. All have it for the winner by unanimous decision, Khalid Murtazaliev.
Khalid Murtazaliev picks up the unanimous decision victory, victorious in his Bellator MMA debut, improving to 15-2, while Fabio Aguiar's 9-fight win streak comes to an end in his first fight in the Bellator MMA cage. Let's check in once again with Gareth Davies for his take on what's coming up later tonight here at Bellator 255.
Thanks, guys. The main event tonight features a second encounter between the champion Patricio Pitbull and Emmanuel Sanchez for a place in the final of the Bellator Featherweight Grand Prix against the rising tyro AJ McKee, with $1 million in bullion awaiting the eventual winner. After their 5-round tear-up in Tel Aviv in 2018, a decision win for the champ, Sanchez told me this week that he's on a revenge tour and, in spite of having the toughest route through the tournament, has taken ownership and accountability in his life during these changing times over the last year. Sanchez says he's grateful for these toughest of opponents, and without champs like Pitbull and a great fighter in AJ McKee with an undefeated record, we wouldn't be having fights like this, exciting fights. Pitbull, meanwhile, told me this week that he feels Sanchez's self-belief going to this, but he loves it. Why? Because, like Pitbull always says, there's no excuses after he embarrasses him. Will the Matador use his magic tonight, or will the Pitbull tear him apart? We are set for a thriller in the main event. Back to you guys.
A thriller indeed. It has been almost 2.5 years since these two stood across from one another in the cage. Now, it was a very close fight. Some had it 2-2, most had it 2-2 going into that 5th round. When we talked to Sanchez this week, he said this fight is going to be about my progression versus his progression. So, Josh, we've talked about how they've changed and evolved since their last fight. How is this fight going to be different this time around?
So what's going to be different is you're going to see Patricio wrestle a lot more. I think he's going to try to get off on the right in the very beginning, get a couple takedowns early and often, and control the pace that Emmanuel Sanchez is able to set. Because last time, he let Emmanuel Sanchez stay on the feet too long, and he was kind of walking him down in those later rounds, and that made him tired. Okay, I think he's going to utilize the wrestling early and often to control the pace of the fight and slow Emmanuel Sanchez down.
Well, Emmanuel Sanchez, AJ, he told us this week that the biggest difference for him was that he now believes that he can beat Patricio Pitbull. He says, look, I stood in there with him. I got the best of what I was still standing at the end. I almost won. How much important is that mental aspect, that believing that you can win, and how much of a factor is that for a fight?
Something my father's put in me since I was a child, man. Mentality is key, especially in a sport like this. If you have mental doubt when you step in that cage, it's going to show, you know? And like you said, and we touched points on, he continued to show his dominance of just pressure. So I think with Patricio going in there and establishing that takedown, like you said, Josh, is going to be a big eye-opener to a different fight that we haven't seen yet, because Emmanuel Sanchez has great jiu-jitsu. So I'm looking forward to see how things play out. I think his pressure and the volume on the feet is going to pressure him. And then Patricio Pitbull is going to have to force that takedown.
All right, well, Pitbull told us this week that he is the best version of himself right now. He's never been more technically sound. Now, Sanchez told us he's been the best that he has ever been. Let's check out two of the best fighters in the world in the best shape of their lives.
November 15th, 2018, Tel Aviv, Israel. Patricio Pitbull, in his second title defense since regaining the Featherweight World Championship, defends his belt versus Emmanuel El Matador Sanchez.
Here we go! 44 combined victories for Pitbull and Sanchez.
I remember that it was a violent fight.
Big right hand. Both of these guys, neither one likes to take a backward step.
I know that Daniel finished him in the first round.
Whoa, he just got rocked with that, though. That hurt him. Emmanuel Sanchez needs to take his time here, keep the pressure, but don't rush in.
Speaking humbly, with such a great fighter in front of me, I thought he'd be a lot harder to hit. And with all that power and all those highlights that he's got, I thought that he would hit harder.
Emmanuel Sanchez still marching forward, throwing kicks, throwing punches, not giving an inch. You gotta love this kid.
And they swing hard.
That was a big right hand by Pitbull.
Both men beaten a little bit, bloodied a little bit. Both men far from beaten.
Emmanuel is very good. He's very dynamic. I like his style. But he's not better than me.
5 minutes remain.
This is the round, man. That title is on the line, in my opinion. Both guys can walk away with that belt. Oh, nice. Just combination left-right hand by Emmanuel Sanchez to start the round.
Oh, there's that
big left hook. He is hurt bad.
To the finish.
Sanchez trying to hang on. That's smart fighting by him.
They go the distance.
He taught me a very valuable lesson that day, and now I'm looking forward to show him what he taught me.
And still, Bellator Featherweight World Champion, Patricio Pitbull.
He knows. No, I won the fight. This time I'm going to finish him at the beginning of the fight. I don't want to do a war again. I knew that we were going to cross paths again. Next up, Patricio Pitbull.
Will it be repeat or revenge for a spot in the Featherweight World Grand Prix Final?
When you see that, it's hard not to get excited for our main event tonight. I don't know, what do you think, Mauro? This has got to be fight of the night, right?
Well, we've got many other memorable fights on tap, but this definitely has the potential to be a fight of the year, especially with so much at stake. But right now, you know, Patricio Pitbull also lords over the lightweight division. And speaking of the 155-pounders, Mandel Nallo is set to square off with Ricardo Seixas.
And now, set to make his way to the cage, Ricardo.
for his second Bellator.
Dangerous. For our tail of the tape for this matchup between Nallo and Seixas, the big thing you're looking at, look at that reach advantage, and since Nallo likes to keep the fight on his feet, Seixas is gonna have to find a way to get inside with that shorter reach.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
Tonight here at the Bellator 255 prelims from Mohegan Sun Arena we go. Now to the lightweight division, scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner at 5'9", weighing in 154.9 pounds. His professional record, 9 wins, 2 losses. From São Bernardo do Campo, Brazil, presenting Ricardo Sasquatch Seixas. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner at 5'11", weighing in 154.9. As a professional, he brings 7 victories, just 1 loss, fighting out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Introducing Nallo. And the referee in charge of the action, Dan Murgliano.
Okay, gentlemen.
Dan Murgliano, the referee. We are set for action.
Let's go, gentlemen.
In the Bellator MMA lightweight division, Mandel Nallo in the red gloves, Ricardo Seixas in the blue gloves, and as John alluded to earlier, Nallo back-to-back highlight reel knockout wins to kick off his Bellator tenure, and well, we'd love to do the same here tonight, but against a guy in Ricardo Seixas, who comes in with a record of 9-2, looking to build off his winning debut in Bellator.
Beautiful jab by Nallo there, landing. You know, when you're looking at Mandel Nallo, you're looking at a guy who just doesn't fight that much, but man, he is built for fighting. Look at his frame. He is long, lean, powerful, very, elusively strong. And he's got speed in his hands. This guy can fight everywhere. I just want to see more of him.
Nallo utilizing his footwork, and there's a front kick to the midsection of Seixas.
You know, you said it beautiful. He is utilizing his footwork because you can see that he's creating beautiful angles on Seixas. That's why Seixas is not landing those kicks. He's the one that's dictating when these exchanges are going to happen. Every time that he strikes out, he's landing something and Seixas is missing.
And Nallo landing a couple of calf kicks to the lead leg of Seixas. There's the jab.
Seixas is not even reacting to that jab. He doesn't see it coming.
And he's keeping his head on the center line, and there's that spinning back fist right to the liver. Or back kick, I should say. Back fist.
Back kick is all right. I knew exactly what you meant.
And he's 100% so far total kicks landed. Good start for Mandel Nallo.
Seixas trying to back him in towards that cage. Wants to get him on that fence. Beautiful straight right lead hand. Landed flush. I honestly don't think at this moment that Nallo has missed one of his strikes.
Already marking up the face of Ricardo Seixas as we come to the midway point of the opening round. Mandel Nallo picking off Seixas, that time with a kick. Stunner step, and Nallo measures him up and then comes over with a right hand.
That hurt him bad. You can see, notice how he's now moving backwards. He's trying to gain some space, gain distance, get some time.
Both of Seixas' losses have come via form of knockout. Nallo sticks the jab to the jaw of Seixas, already bloodied up here in the first round.
Not only is he sticking that jab, it's a right jab that you can see that Seixas is not seeing it.
Beautiful left hook, straight right hand, front kick to the face. Mandel Nallo putting it on Ricardo Seixas here in the first round. Head kick.
Nallo is putting on a...
Oh, wow, the right hand drops and stops Ricardo Seixas here in the opening round. Mamma mia! Mandel Nallo putting on a show at the Fight Sphere.
Man, you cannot look any better than what Mandel Nallo looked like in there. That was just an execution. What a performance by Mandel Nallo. Take a look at this, little Superman punch, drops Seixas down. He wasn't seeing anything coming in. That was just a sniper attack. Beautiful job by Mandel Nallo. Watch this, beautiful question mark kick coming up high. Everything that he threw was touching. He almost batted 1,000. He may have missed one that I didn't see, but it was an impressive display of striking by Mandel Nallo throughout this entire contest. Look at the paint job that he did right there. That is telling you that all of those strikes landed, and not only landed, they landed with power.
So there's Rafael Cordero. The two teams showing each other some respect, but Mandel Nallo with a masterpiece here tonight. Lighting up Ricardo Seixas in electrifying fashion in this lightweight encounter. And all 8 of Mandel Nallo's victories now have come inside the distance.
Well, these aren't sponsors. Let me get to the middle. They're yelling at me.
Well, let's make it official with Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, it comes to an end. 3 minutes, 23 seconds into round number 1. The winner by knockout, Mandel Nallo.
Mandel Nallo improves to 3-1 with 1 no contest in Bellator. All 3 of the victories thanks to his proficient striking. Let's go to Big John McCarthy.
Mandel Nallo, we talk about fights where everything is working for you, and that for you right there was an exhibition. You were lighting him up with everything that you threw. Talk me through what you were thinking in there.
That is just the training works, you know. That's about it. I was walking in, and I'm like, man, this is just a sparring. You know, you hear it all the time, guys, like, you gotta treat it like sparring. I guess it's true after all, because I was like, oh man, this is just for fun.
Well, I'll tell you what, it looked like you were having fun, and he definitely was not, because, like I said, I actually had you pitching a shutout as far as I thought you batted 1,000. I don't think you missed any shots in there. And when it came to that Superman punch right at the end that put him down and the little tiny uppercut, did you know at the point when he went down that it was going to be over?
I had a feeling. I was like half eyes on the ref, half eyes on him. But yeah, like when you sit down like that, usually that's it. You know, it wasn't like you went in to shoot a takedown or anything. He was done.
You have been in this cage now. This is a 5th time. Your last one didn't work out as far as there was a foul, going unintentional. How do you feel now coming back, having a performance like that, and who do you believe should be your next opponent in this cage?
I can't, as to who it should be, I don't know, but it feels real good to kind of like, you know, my last 2 fights have been real weird, and every interview, they're like, would you like to remedy that? Well, of course I would, and I think I did that now, so let's move forward, let's get some wins, and let's fight a bunch this year. Best performance I've ever seen out of you, and I've seen some great performances, beautiful knockouts. Congratulations on that win. Mandel Nallo.
Mandel Nallo definitely provided the remedy tonight in scintillating fashion, celebrating with his team. The vaunted tri-star up in the Great White North, and Firas Zahabi, of course, who has led so many incredible fighters, including the likes of Rory McDonald and GSP. And now, well, let's go back across the pond and check in with Gareth Davies.
Thanks, guys. The welterweight contest later tonight between Neiman Gracie and Jason Jackson pitches a 4th-generation fighter from the Gracie family who studies MMA under Renzo Gracie in Manhattan against the fluid, fast-transitioning Jackson, who believes he is just reaching maturity as a fighter. It's hard to disagree with that. Jackson holds victories over Diego Lima, brother of Bellator welterweight champion Douglas Lima, and most recently, in his 3-fight win streak, fine wins over Jordan Meehan and notably the decorated Benson Henderson. But the key tonight is, can Gracie dominate on the mat, or will it be the stand-up of Jackson that prevails? This has got title eliminator written all over it. It's going to be a great one. Back to you guys.
Well, that's a look at our co-main event. We've got Neiman Gracie taking on Jason Jackson in a welterweight feature bout. Lots to look forward to. All right, we are continuing to count down to Bellator's debut on Showtime. And the night kicks off at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific with a women's flyweight feature bout. We got Alejandra Lara. She's taking on the undefeated Kana Watanabe. Now, both women, they haven't fought in over a year. Both have said that they have put in a lot of work to improve. AJ, let's start with Lara. She has made some really impressive strides. What have you seen in her so far this year?
I would say I'm impressed by her stand-up. It's come a long way within her previous couple of fights. She's really added to her arsenal, adding a lot of elbows, really figuring out her range and putting her strikes together. For this fight, I think that's a big key, being longer, being bigger. With her opponent being a judo master, you really don't want her to get close to you. So her key to this fight and her key to the victory is keep her range, pick her strikes, and impose her will.
Josh, you see this last fight here that she fought Vida Ortega, who's known as a brawler, and she just, I mean, her stand-up looks so impressive.
But that's what got her to implement the elbows. She understood that Vida Ortega throws loopy punches, and they usually come out wide. So she got inside the pocket and started throwing the elbows, and she had a lot of success with that. That ended up to a lot of cuts and a lot of blood for Vida Ortega, and that was ultimately her demise throughout the fight. She couldn't see because of the blood. Alejandra Lara has improved everywhere, not just on the feet, but on the ground as well. Her top game, her ground and pound, has gotten so much better. She's done a great job of improving her game. I'm excited to see how much she's gained over this last year.
Well, her opponent tonight, Kana Watanabe, her first fight for Bellator was against Lara Joanne. That's where I got it mixed up. Lara Joanne, there we go. But it was back in Japan, and that's where I want to go. It was in Japan. This is her first fight in the U.S. Bright lights, time change. How much of an effect, AJ, could that have on a fighter coming over to the U.S. in a big, big fight here tonight against Lara?
It could have a big effect, but as far as the bright lights, this isn't anything she hasn't seen before. Being on the Olympic team and being a great judo athlete, it's nothing she hasn't seen, so she just needs to come over, make some noise, and put on a great show.
Josh, you know, there's one thing that has happened here with COVID is we have no fans, and now you have fought in Japan. You got to assume that that's going to actually play to her favor tonight, considering the atmosphere in Japan.
Yeah, you can hear a pin drop while you're fighting. They only really clap when something exciting happens. They know the ground game very well, and Kana Watanabe is very good in the judo area. So if she can get to the clinch, close the distance, end up getting to a takedown and getting to the top position, as you can see here, she's got vicious ground and pound. Her transitions from the top position to the submission is top notch.
Well, we talked about, you know, if Lara has the edge on the feet, Kana has the edge on the ground. Who is the best chance, AJ, at imposing their will to getting to that position?
Me being a striker, I'm always going to go with the striker, man. The fans love a good knockout, and it's entertaining, you know? So if she can keep her distance, keep her spacing, and if it does come to a point where they hit the ground, she needs to come out on top.
I would strongly disagree.
Okay, I love it. Let's hear it.
As much as I like Alejandra Lara, what it comes down to is that Watanabe is very good at closing the distance and getting in the clinch, and that's her game right there. Once this fight hits the ground, if she's on top, she's going to have a lot of success with the jiu-jitsu.
All right, well, both women want to show Bellator matchmakers that they should be the next woman to vie for the belt against Juliana Velasquez. All right, time for our last prelim fight. Moro, back to you.
All right, Jen, we got a couple of bantamweights who want to prove that they belong here in Bellator MMA. Magomedov against C.J. Hamilton. We put a button on Bellator 255 prelim action.
And now And now his opponent ready to make his way to the cage of Magomed, Tiger Magomedov.
29-year-old Tiger Magomedov, only man to defeat former UFC bantamweight champion Petr Yan, not via disqualification. They are 1-1. In fact, Magomedov making his return to the Bellator cage tonight. Currently on a 4-fight win streak, made his Bellator debut at Bellator 254 December of last year, defeating Mateus Matos.
Boy, this was just a beautiful performance because Matos is a good fighter and he just could find no room to become offensive. He was defensive throughout this entire fight, trying to stop all the different things that Magomedov was throwing at him. You saw the cartwheel kicks, you see all kinds of different techniques. This guy is not just a wrestler, he is an MMA fighter, and he will light you up on the feet or he will beat you down on the ground.
He said he normally trains at Mark Henry's gym when he comes to the U.S., but for this fight he did a little training at Extreme Couture in Las Vegas as we go to the tail of the tape for our final preliminary bout.
Tail of tape on this fight, look at that record. We're talking 17-1, prior champion in other organizations. This is one of the best bantamweights you will ever see.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
For all those that have joined us tonight on the various platforms around the world for the prelims here at Bellator 255, we conclude now with 3 5-minute rounds in the bantamweight division. Introducing the blue corner at 5'6", weighing in 134.4 pounds. His professional record, 15 wins, 7 losses, from Hartwell, Georgia, CJ, the Autobot Hamilton. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner at 5'7", weighing in 135 pounds even, just off his successful Bellator debut. He returns with 17 professional victories, just 1 defeat. Fighting out of Mahatskala, Dagestan, Russia, Magomed Tiger Mamedov. In charge, your referee, John English.
John English will oversee this bantamweight battle between Magomed Tiger Magomedov in the red gloves and C.J. Hamilton in the blue gloves.
Blue, you good. Red, you good. Round 1. Let's go.
Bell and round 1.
Take a move.
This is exactly what I think CJ needs to do. He needs to be elusive with his footwork. He likes to switch back and forth between the orthodox and southpaw style. Keep doing those things, and when you get your chance, don't try to do the big shots. Just keep touching him and making him pay when he comes inside.
Magomedov with that spinning back kick that almost countered by Hamilton. Magomedov has 7 first-round finishes, 2 knockouts, 5 submissions. Was looking for the electric finish fast.
Every time that I've watched Magomed fight, when I refereed him, just a very systematic guy that just continues to put pressure on his opponents everywhere there is in the fight.
Pouncing on Hamilton. Looking for that guillotine, arm in guillotine.
Nice job by CJ to pull his head out.
And that is Magomedov's trademark submission. He has 4 guillotine choke victories already.
He does, and he's got a very tight guillotine, and he's very good with his little trips. You'll see him taking, he's going to be kicking the feet out from CJ. CJ needs to be careful of his balance when inside.
Magomedov, the number 5 ranked Bellator MMA bantamweight, newly minted champion Juan Archuleta will defend the title against Sergio Pettis coming up in May. Now Jackson, or make that C.J. Hamilton, excuse me, beginning to open up, body kick.
CJ needs to be careful of getting close to that fence.
Nice sidestep there by Magomedov to attack the leg.
Hey, keep climbing, don't stop. Keep climbing. Disengage, you disengage. Keep climbing, get ready to scramble.
Right now, what you're looking at is Magomedov is looking just past the legs to come out and decide. You're seeing CJ trying to hold that position so he come on top. Nice job by CJ, even if he just gets away.
Hamilton doing that, sprawling, and knee up the middle by C.J. Hamilton.
You see that little trick that Magomedov does as far as he clasps down on the wrist area with his arm because that glove is now stuck in that position. Little tricky move.
Midway point of the first round.
Circle, you first, baby.
Magomedov feinting with the jab. The southpaw Hamilton.
Hey, just go. Fire.
Just a little bit as you're looking at this, and we're now about halfway through this round, Mauro, but you're seeing that CJ, who was coming out bouncing and moving a lot, getting a little bit more flat-footed, which is only going to give Magomed more opportunities to get in these types of positions right here.
2 minutes left in the first round. Magomedov with the single leg secures the takedown. Now to top position, wanting to pass guard. That butterfly into side control.
Beautiful movement, nice transition.
Hey, keep working. Yeah, keep working. Keep working. Yes. Come on, now the other way. Back and forth. Don't settle. Don't settle.
There's a lot of work
by Magomedov. Go ahead, John.
A lot of work by CJ here. I like what I'm seeing, but can he continue on with this because it's a lot of energy being put out.
And Hamilton very active on his back.
Get that knee shield back.
Now back into side control.
All the way up.
Magomedov wanting to achieve full mount, now on his feet, dropping a couple of right hands before diving into
beautiful transition.
Yeah, full mount as Hamilton near the fence. Now Hamilton gives up his back. Magomedov putting the hooks in. He does have a rear naked choke submission win on his resume.
No, work. Yes, now clear the hand.
7 submissions in total for Magomedov.
Magomedov is dangerous everywhere. Right?
There's that body triangle.
He's in a body triangle, but CJ's got a good ability to try to move himself into a better position from it. Now you see Magomed getting his hips back square.
Flattens him out.
And just right there. Beautiful movement by CJ, but Magomedov is just letting him roll underneath him. He's in trouble.
And Magomedov ground and pound on CJ Hamilton.
Going to the body, going to the head.
Dropping these right-hand missiles is Magomedov. Hammer fist to Hamilton. Hamilton trying to defend, eating these shots. And wow, what a belly-to-back suplex by Magomedov. Pounding CJ Hamilton. And saved by the bell like Bayside was CJ Hamilton.
CJ Hamilton just tough as nails to make it through that round.
He was very tough.
Oh,
what a suplex.
Slow deep breath.
Well, that's what I'm talking about with Magomed is this is the guy that transitions so well. He doesn't just stop, and you see him flowing from one technique to the next. That suplex happened in 1 second at a time. Is up in the air, and he's going down.
His attempt at what Kevin Randleman did to Fedor Emelianenko back in the Pride days.
Exactly. Look at right here. Coming in on the single, drags him down, and quickly just establishes position, gets to his side control. And you notice that when Magomed, beautiful movement into that side control position, and then it opens up with heavy ground and pound. We're talking, you know, he's postured up and bringing a lot of weight down, gravity helping him. All of this heavy ground and pound to the point where CJ is at the end. He's covering up, having a hard time getting hit with heavy shots. Wow. Beautiful suplex. Nice job of CJ to move himself in the air and actually transition to land so he can control how hard he hits the ground.
Again, CJ Hamilton taking the fight on short notice against the #5 ranked bantamweight in Bellator MMA. And I think, John, you may be another one who thinks maybe Magomedov should be ranked a little bit higher.
Oh, you know, I know there's no doubt.
Oh, spinning back kick to the liver there by Magomedov.
Exactly.
Off the cage, off the cage. Punch it with your hands, CJ.
You can see that it hurt him. Just that movement, you're right there. That's telling you that that spinning back kick landed. It was effective. And again, look at how flat-footed CJ is.
When he took out his right leg, and he seems to have a little difficulty. They're spinning back kick right to the oblique.
And this is what makes Magomedov so good.
Oh, jumping knee by Magomedov.
He can fight in every range. If he's outside, he's got beautiful spinning kicks, good attacks from the outside. When he gets into boxing range, he uses his hands well, and when he gets into a clinch range, he dominates people with position.
Magomedov in his 10th year as a professional mixed martial artist. Hamilton looking for the guillotine.
Yeah, CJ's going for it, but he does not have it, and he needs to right now let go of that head. Good job of CJ to let go of it, or he could have ended up getting choked himself.
And Magomedov continues to add to his striking totals. One-sided traffic in the striking department, John. And now there's Magomedov. There's the tap. Rear naked choke victory for Magomedov. That's his 8th submission, 2nd rear naked choke, and he improves to 18-1, 2-0 in the Bellator bantamweight division. And yeah, if I had a hat, hats off to CJ Hamilton. Takes a fight on short notice, gave him everything he could, but he was in, hey, like they say, levels to this thing.
You're absolutely right. That's what we talk about. You just start getting in there with a guy that he just starts pulling you into waters where your head just starts going under the surface. Not good. You know, this is just small ground pound, but then he goes to the elbows. And CJ's in trouble as far as not being able to really stop anything that's happening. He tries to get himself back up. You see Magomed grabbed and jumped into that beautiful flying knee right there. This is a guy that has a dynamic attack in all ranges. That's what makes him so dangerous to every fighter in the bantamweight division. Here he goes, gets the choke, goes to the ground with it. Look at this, just a palm to palm. Rear naked choke. CJ just cannot take the squeeze of it. Look at the leg locks on it. Just a beautiful performance overall by Magomedov.
Magomed Tiger Magomedov, man, Dagestan representing in mixed martial arts, and definitely we look forward to more out of this 29-year-old bantamweight. Again, the only man to defeat the former UFC bantamweight belt holder Petr Yan. They've split 2 fights. He's now won 5 in a row. He has nothing but respect for Juan Archuleta, the current bantamweight champion. He says he's a tough guy, and of course Magomedov would love to face him inside the cage one day. Of course, Archuleta defends the title against Sergio Pettis first, but let's make it official now with Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official time, 1 minute, 22 seconds into round number 2, the tap. By way of a rear naked choke for the winner by submission, Magomed Tiger Magomedov.
All right, Magomedov receiving congratulations from C.J. Hamilton, who again took the fight on short notice. Let's go to Big John.
Magomed, that was an outstanding performance. Your 2nd win in a row here in the Bellator cage. How are you feeling right now?
Мага, это твоя 2-я победа в Беллаторе. Как ты себя чувствуешь после этой победы? Что ты можешь сказать?
Я чувствую себя отлично. Вы все сами видели. Может, где-то не раскрылся, но будем в целом доволен.
I feel great. You see everything. Maybe I didn't show everything I would like to show you, but I'm happy that I got the victory.
I think that you showed quite a bit. We had suplexes, we had spinning attacks, we had beautiful ground control, a beautiful rear naked choke finish. You were ranked 5th in the inaugural bantamweight rankings. Is that where you think you should be, or who do you think you should be fighting next?
Мы достаточно увидели в этом бою суплексы, отличный удушающий, ты красиво закончил бой. До этого боя ты находился на 5-й строчке в рейтинге. Ты думаешь, ты поднимешься?
Я не думаю, что я поднимусь. Это боец, ну и не из рейтинга был. Я хочу поблагодарить соперника, который вышел на замену, что получился бой. Без него это не получилось бы. Ну, я не скажу, что как-то я там 100% напряжен был. Я просто наслаждался нахождением в этом клетке. И бой получился так, как получился.
I don't think so. I will go too high in the rankings because my opponent wasn't ranked opponent. But I'm very grateful that he took this fight, because without him this fight wouldn't happen. But I just enjoy myself in this cage tonight.
Well, I will tell you that was a fantastic performance. You showed all types of different ranges of fighting and different techniques. Congratulations on a wonderful victory. We hope to see you again soon.
Я хочу сказать, я нахожусь на 5-м месте, и я хочу драться с кем из топ-5. Я не хочу оглядываться назад, я хочу драться, кто впереди меня. И хочу сказать, Хуан Арчулета, я наблюдаю за тобой. Держи этот пояс для меня, я скоро приду за ним.
I would like to fight someone from the top 5. I want to move forward. I don't want to fight anyone out of the rankings or below me. And I want to say, Juan Archuleta, keep this belt for me. I'm coming.
That's what I want to hear. Magomedov.
Dagestan fighter.
Yes, he is a Dagestan fighter, one of many dynamic fighters from Dagestan. Magomedov said he enjoyed himself tonight. I'm sure fans watching all over the world, including our friends watching in the UK on BBC iPlayer, enjoyed Magomedov's victory here tonight, putting a nice finish on what has been a festival of finishes during the Bellator 255 prelims. All right, let's go back to Jen Brown.
Thanks, Mara. Hey, Josh, you gotta love that, right? When you get that opportunity, even if the microphone has gone away, you call it back. You let the guys know who you want to face. You call out the guy who's got the belt.
You train for 8 to 10 weeks. You can't let that moment pass you by, and I'm glad he called it back over. It made it more exciting because he was about to leave without saying anything. I'm like, don't do that. Say something. Right, AJ? You've got to capitalize on those moments.
Especially, definitely, you know, that's something I've done since day one. I've called for Pitbull's name, and he knows it. It's nothing personal, but when you're that man and you got that mark on your shoulders, people are coming after you.
Yeah, we've talked about that. Maybe not so much tonight, but we've talked about this kind of leading up to the fight about, you know, how hard it is to motivate yourself as the champion, right? Because you've got the bullseye on your back. That gives all the other fighters something to look forward to. It's hard when you're a champ. You got to find ways to motivate you, but it seems like Patricio has done a pretty good job considering where he is, huh, Josh?
Yeah, before this tournament, though, I could agree with that. But now there's $1 million on the line. So I don't know how you can't be motivated about that. No, just remember, this is not just the $1 million. It's also your fight purses that are involved, the win and the show money, or all the show money, whatever it is, however their contract is negotiated. But if $1 million doesn't motivate you, and to say that you're the pound-for-pound best fighter right now in Bellator, or basically could be pound-for-pound the best fighter in the world, I think he is, and I think this man right here is number 2. He's in the finals right now. So, exactly, I think he is right there at the top. To be motivated, though, do you have a reason to be motivated or no?
Definitely, man. Like I've said, this is a childhood dream for me. You know, to win $1 million and a world title at the same time, it's surreal. You know, it's honestly surreal. For this fight, Sanchez versus Pitbull, I'm looking forward to it. You know, they're both going to come in there. The first fight was really close. I couldn't call it myself, so I'm looking forward to it. You know, 2 key points that I see in this fight for them is what are they going to bring that's new for each other? And then on those deeper rounds, later rounds, what old habits and tendencies come out for them to really expose each other?
Well, one thing I think kind of went over everybody, but you talked about fulfilling a childhood dream, and I think that's one of the coolest stories. This guy wrote himself a check, $1 million check when you were 12 years old, and now you stand one fight away from cashing that. How cool is that?
It's surreal, man. Honestly, this entire tournament, it's been surreal, you know, from the first fight, fighting with my father on the same card, to now getting ready to become a world champion and conquer my first $1 million. It's surreal. I'm ready, you know. Tonight's gonna be a great night.
I gotta ask, what are you gonna do with $1 million? What are you gonna do with it?
I have no idea, but I'll find out when I get it.
Well, you got some time to think about it. All right, well, the road to gold continues tonight. Bellator's launch on Showtime kicks off with 2 of the sport's most exciting female fighters. We've got Olympian qualifier flyweight Kana Watanabe walks to the cage to face Alejandra Lara, the 9th-ranked pound-for-pound female, both looking to solidify a contender position tonight. And Neiman Gracie fights Jason Jackson. We've got 2 different styles, but it's a clash that we cannot wait to happen. Tyrell Fortune fights Jake May. Now 14 finishes between the 2. A combination of heavy hands and impressive ground game, that's sure to deliver a show. Plus, the promotional debut of Usman Nurmagomedov has every Bellator lightweight glued to Showtime tonight. And then, of course, it's the Featherweight World Grand Prix. It is back. Champ Patricio Pitbull meets Emmanuel Sanchez for the 2nd time. It is the belt on the line. The tournament finals are in the future. And let's not forget, of course, as these guys just said, it's that $1 million purse. This is a don't blink, don't miss event. The road to gold continues tonight, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Don't go anywhere. Bellator MMA debuts on Showtime next.